Could this possibly be the tiniest everyday carry watercolor sketch kit? Maybe. Maybe there's tinier, but this is pretty small. Let me show you what I have here. Now this, full disclosure here, was an impulse buy. It's super adorable. It is a bag, and it is under 4 inches, roughly, and about 2 3, just a little over 2 3/4 inches wide. This I bought at the checkout of Trader Joe's, as you can see, a while ago, and it holds, or it was meant to hold, a reusable grocery sack, which I have plenty of those. I didn't need another one. I knew instantly I wasn't going to use it for that. I just thought this bag is so cute and I want to use it for something else. And I've tried a few different things. The zipper's okay. It doesn't really open all the way, so you have a little less room to get in than that bag actually holds, but the cuteness factor, I mean, cannot be beat. So that is, it's currently holding my everyday carry watercolor supplies. And then I made this little tiny sketchbook from scraps just to have something with me every day that didn't weigh anything. And it's just some cutoffs from Arches, 100% cotton watercolor paper from a sketchbook, you know, from the pad. That's what I'm trying to say. And then some gel print scraps that I just cut down to size and embossed. Is that the right word? No, I can't think. So I put some ridges in here to make it fold, and then just added a scrap here to hold the scraps. I took these scraps here, I think it's about 9 inches, yeah. 9 inches by 2 1/8, and so I just folded them on the 3-inch and folded them up like a little accordion. That way I could do a longer swatch or sketch if I want, or I can just do it like that. And I think this is such quality paper that I could use both sides. And that was about it for making this little sketchbook. I just popped it in the side here like that, and I have a second one there. And for now, super technical way to hold it is a little rubber band, and I can just throw it in. Nothing is precious. I think the most precious thing is the scrap of watercolor paper. So I can throw it in. I think I can squeeze it in there. I can't remember. Let's go ahead and see what I've got all in here. Okay, all of this was fitting in here, and let's just go and see if we put this one in first. Yeah, because of that opening, I think it's going to be a struggle because the bag is bigger than the opening is. I might be able to shove it in there, but I'm not gonna try. I'm just gonna leave it out because it's small enough that it can just hang out wherever in my bag, my purse. So we first have this pièce de résistance. This is one of my favorite little things. I recently got the small, this is called the Demi palette by Art Toolkit. It's a local company to me, and relatively local. And it is expensive, yes, because it's a small business, but this is the Demi palette, which I put my colors from the pocket palette that I had bought a while ago in. These are Van Gogh colors, and it was part of, I think, the Explorer palette, so I bought it with the colors. These are the colors that are in there, and I just swapped them over here to be in my everyday kit. This is just to remind me what colors are where. And oh, if you're wondering what this scrap is, this is palette paper. It's got kind of a wax shiny side, and then this side is matte and it's not waxed. This is the side you're meant to paint on and use as a temporary palette. I like to cut the scraps down of these because I am doing this on the go, like literally on the go, and I might have 10-15 seconds notice that I gotta put it away because I'm at the doctor or wherever, and so they're not fully dry a lot of times. So I usually hold it in my hand, you know, if it's really wet, but if it's not fully dry, I can put this on there. And yes, some paint does sometimes stick to it, but it's reusable because it's on palette paper. I can pick it up later, or, you know, so if I have to close it up in a hurry, definitely I'd want to keep it upright, but that has helped me out. I have a little pencil, It's tiny. I got it from somewhere, and you know, you could use a pencil nub, but it fits in there perfectly, and it even has a little eraser on it, which I like. That's just for sketching. Have a tiny binder clip. This I can use to hold whatever paper down if I've got a sketchbook I brought. Also, this pocket palette works great for clipping on to the sketchbook. So let's just pretend I'm using this one. I'm gonna clip it there, and I would probably set these wherever, and then I can, you know, sketch something there and hold it in the palm of my hand. It's very handy that way. Also, I have, what is this little thing? This is one of those compressed towels, and as you wet it, it opens up. So it does get bigger. It's reusable. It gets stained. This one, sometimes I do also use this clip to hold that on, and I can dab off my paint. Sometimes it's kind of like a holding everything thing. So I might slip this under there and just have it all accessible. And then also another thing I've done, which I don't know if I've done it with this tiny one, but with this little rag, if I've got enough of the end there, I might just pull it through the loop. So if I pull enough of it through the little binder clip loop there, I've got it in, and I can just dab off without worrying about it, and it's held on there. So we get the pencil, we'll scoot that over. Then I have this, I don't remember where this came with something. Maybe in a kit or whatever. The only thing that is a drawback of this water brush is you can't like stow it with water in there. You got to dump it out. But it folds up so small that it fits in there. It's a little bit of a struggle getting it in because it is 3.5 inches long. Well, at least, especially, I put it in kind of at the top. It's easy when it's empty, but yeah. And then, what am I going to put in here? What water? I found this solution because I can't really fit much of a water container in the bag with everything else. But again, I don't know where I got this tiny sprayer, but he's so cute. I might have even repurposed it from something else. And it is 2 1/8 to 2 1/4 inches long, and it holds, I don't know how much water it holds, but what I figured was, it's a little tough to open. What I figured was, in use, I could just pour a little water in there. Maybe that's too much. That's like all of the water. There we go. A little water in there, because in my experience, sometimes I don't get a lot of time before my time is up. That's tough. Let me see. If I had another sprayer or a little bottle, actually one thing, a little bottle that works pretty well too, is like a soy sauce container. Okay, look at that, all packed up. So I thought I'd pop in just real quick and show how you can store the wet rag right on here on the handle. I just slipped a rubber band through and then wrapped it around, and it's hanging onto it until it can dry, hopefully. And then here, right here, is a soy sauce container bottle. And it's, let's see, less than 1 3/4 inches tall and roughly a little over 1/2 inch wide. It's malleable, so it's a little bit soft. It has a thread on the cap that you screw on, and you can see it's not letting any water out. I thought this would be great as a primary water container. It fits right on the top there. Everything else is in there. And then if I need more water for my little water brush, I can open that difficult to open spray bottle. Or if I want to spray, I have that ability too. So there it is. My little companion for serendipitous moments to paint on the go. What do you think? The tiny one, I could also spray things, but on this small format, I don't know that I'm going to be doing that much. And these paints re-wet pretty nicely, so I don't feel the need to have to do that often. Now, give it this little squeeze here. There we go. Got some water out there, so I don't want to use this. Let me see. I'm grabbing another scrap. This also is, I think, Arches. Oh, it was like, yeah, So let's just, for example, go right in there, and you see it re-wets pretty well. And like I said, this is an everyday pocket palette, like literally fits in your hand. And for me, it's just more so to have something for those little moments. If I know I'm gonna have more time, I might bring something bigger. But this is the thing that I don't like to carry a lot of extra weight, and most of the time I don't get a lot of opportunities. So it's just on me for the chance opportunity that I might have. And then this tiny bit of water, if I didn't use it all up, I can put back in there. But normally I probably would use that, and then I can add a little more. So totally limited on the water supply, but often I might have a water bottle or access to getting more water. Then you might have noticed this cute, I love this. So if you're not local and or Art Toolkit is not in your budget, which is pretty reasonable for that to be the case, considering that it is not inexpensive. It's a super lightweight, awesome thing. Great for backpackers too, but this is a good alternative, as you might not be able to fit as many colors in, but the little reused mint tin, and this one, the Altoids small, is around 2 1/4, 2 3/8 by roughly a little over 1 1/2, because it's got more edge here on the sides. And it's also metallic. You can use it with clips like this. Oops. To clip on. This is just from Dollar Tree. But, you know, this is pretty big, so that's why it's not in that little package. I better get that out of here. Flip it open, and inside my little Altoids tin, I have a few things. I have some super strong magnets which hang out in there, because another way that I found to use this is with a sketchbook. I can slip the magnet under the page, and I'm not shaking it too much. It holds it fairly well if I'm not moving around too much. And actually I do have 2 magnets in here, so I could slip this one under that side, and that's not going anywhere. And they just hang out inside, and you might wonder what the heck's happening inside mine. I just thought I'd try it out, because I've never done this before. I wanted to have this as extra mixing space, as well as possibly, you know, storage. So if I had paints in here, I would have the paints in this deeper section, which, let me see. It's about a 1/2 inch deep there. But because my little pocket palette, when I have all these colors in here, only has this top part for mixing, I don't need a ton of mixing with all these different colors, but if I needed or wanted some different colors, this works. The other thing it works for is a water receptacle. Now, I can't fill it up past that point, but I can put a little bit of water in here. Let me do that. Just a little bit of water. And use it, which is handy even with a water brush, because sometimes it takes a bit to get the tip clean. So here I've got my tip messy, cleaning up the top here, and dab it off, but maybe it's not, yeah, it's not quite clean yet, so I can dip it in there to get it the rest of the way, instead of using the water within my water brush, which I'm kind of limited on, to clean the tip off. That is something I find annoying, is, you know, have it sometimes, I don't know, I'm heavy-handed, full disclosure there. I sometimes put way too much paint on the tip of my water brush, and then I have to use, you know, a good amount of the water that's in the water brush to clean the tip off when I go to do a different color. So you can see me cleaning this off here while we're talking. It is a little stained, but what I did was I painted white nail polish, because I thought enamel, maybe that would work for white for one, and then for the paint not sticking and pooling, and it works pretty well, I have to say. You could use like any old enamel paint. I happened to have some white nail polish that for whatever reason I had bought at Dollar Tree, like LA Colors or something, and it probably wasn't to paint my nails with, just to like paint something with in nail polish color, and it works really well. So again, you don't want to fill the water up past these little hinges because it's an opening, and you can't throw it around because then the water would splish out. But if you want just a little bit of water, this is like a water vessel. It could hold paints, it's an extra mixing space, and it conveniently holds a couple other things here that I didn't even start talking about. The magnets to hold things on, and then here I got this rag wet so you can see. It folds out to this size. I would want to let it dry a bit before stowing it away, but you know, it folds pretty flat when you're not using it, and you can stuff it in any old corner of the bag, so that works out great. Now the last two items in here, because I have a pencil, have a cute little sharpener, and if I had a shorter mechanical pencil, or if I just had a mechanical pencil in my purse, these two I wouldn't even need in here. But I put it in there, it fits in there, and oh, it wants to see the metal part. It wants to go right where those strong magnets are. I'm gonna call that out, get in there, grab you. So I think I had bought a large pack of these Neo, whatever you call them, rare earth magnets. And these were one of the sizes that were in there, and they're very handy for this use. So I have to put my sharpener in there just so, or it'll get stuck to the magnets. Then I have this little container. I think that this also might have been something I got at Daiso or somewhere, and it's probably meant to hold creams or makeup, but it's holding my kneaded eraser. And I just like to have it in there to keep it cleaner and keep the graphite from getting to other things. And so I can use that because this is an eraser, but this is better for watercolor. So, and it's such a cute little container, isn't it? And then it goes in there. It all closes up nicely. So I love these little mint containers. And if you see it, grab it, eat the mints, maybe put them in a Ziploc. But the container is priceless and great for using to have art on the go. So what do you think of this little art everyday kit that has watercolor and pretty much everything I need? And again, I might bring other things outside of it, but I can do everything in a tiny painting with just what's in here. And you don't need a lot of water to do such a tiny surface, so that works out. Let me know your thoughts and comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful and creative day. Bye!